Well, now, looking at the paces, you've probably wondered, those of you who perhaps don't come very often, they seem to be carrying a lot of gear. And they do carry a lot of gear. Most of it is extremely necessary. And one man who can explain it to us, just what they carry, how it's done, and why they carry it, is Carl O'Dwyer with Stephen Phillips.
This is in action, and with me I've got Carl O'Dwyer to explain just all the gear that these paces wear. Carl, it looks like a pretty involved job gearing them up.
Well, it's very important. It's something that is a very intricate part of the horse's balance and his gait, to make sure that you do have them geared up correctly. We've now got the horse here with the saddle on, the saddle and the crupper. That's to hold the gig on once the gig is put forward. That's our breastplate that attaches to the gig, which we'll put on shortly. The hobbles are just being thrown over now. The hobbles are a very intricate part of the horse. It's important to have them the correct length, the correct height on the horse's legs, so that he can pace without any interference whatsoever and run it at the speeds we've got to run it, especially today, and better
this horse is Wild Gypsy, and Alan Tubbs is putting the gear on.
He's just putting the hobbles on now. The back hobbles have gone on the hind leg, and then slips them back. The front hobble will go on in a moment.
It's very lightweight, the gear.
Very lightweight gear. It's a synthetic leather type gear, plastic covered for durability and lightness.
Was it once leather?
Was once all leather. Was once. We can see how the horse has got enough room to move so that when he stretches out he can balance up. After we have the hobbles to go on, Alan will be attaching knee boots and shin boots to the horse. These are protection for the horse. At high speeds they come very close with their front feet, and they tend to brush quite often, and if you haven't got the boots, well, it can cause a horse to break. There's a shin boot before it's attached.
Well, Wild Gypsy looks anything but wild, looks very docile.
He does look very docile, Stephen, very docile. There's the shin boot just being attached now. It's also a very lightweight fabric. Protection on the inside where he just apt to hit. We've got a knee boot here now. It's a leather-covered substance, a leather-covered rubber substance that, once again, it's for protection. You can see the marks on the boot there that do tend to, where he tends to brush that boot and brushes it fairly.
Yes, you wouldn't like that.
There's an old saying the Americans years ago with trotters, that they were only as good as their boots, and that gives you some indication, so it is important. Here's the sulky going on now. It's put through the tugs into the cups. These two cups here are to stop the sulky from coming forward when the driver applies
also
pressure.
Super lightweight, the sulky. Super
lightweight, yes, so extreme light, and very well balanced, so that when the driver's sitting on it, he's getting weight up on the horse and not down on his shoulders. Very important.
I might have to get a few tips from you later. Do you have to sit back in the sulky?
No, you sit nicely balanced, so that when the weight's just off the horse, you don't want to be laying back out of the cart. If you look at all our leading drivers, most of them are very well balanced drivers, and they keep in tune with the gait of the horse.
Well, it looks very involved, but in the hands of experts, very simple.
Well, it is very simple, but it's interesting to see somebody that's had no experience, how long it can take them to put the gear on and how much trouble they get into.
I should think it'd take us quite a while.
Yes. We've got if you throw the headgear on him. We've got the headgear to go on now, which is a very important part of it. There's the bridle. There's the bridle there, a bit going through his mouth. This horse, quite often we have a head check bit, but there we've got a chin strap that comes underneath the horse's chin. Here we have the head check itself that unattaches, and it goes back to the saddle of the horse. Now that gives him balance. That keeps his head in the right spot so that he is nicely balanced. I'll put it on and we can show you. He's attaching the headgear now. He puts it on to make sure that the horse gets his tongue under the bit. It's a problem that we have with the standard breds as well as thoroughbreds. They can get their tongue over the bit, some of them. But
what race have we got Wild Gypsy in today? In the third race. Well, over the years at Channel 7, we've done a number of these stories, and it's amazing how often the horse we've done the story on's bobbed up. So those people at home might take this as something of an omen.
Well, we hope so. Here's the head check. It attaches back up here. It appears to be very tight, but as he gets going, he'll relax down and let his head will come down and be nicely balanced. That's tight only because he's standing here.
Well, Carl, we're almost ready to go.
Almost ready to go, yes. It's a matter of just getting out there, hopefully having plenty of luck.
Carl O'Dwyer, thank you very much, and we'll be back to show some of the other facets of this very fascinating game a little later in the afternoon.
And we'll be looking forward to that, Stephen. Right now, as the candidates go out onto the track for the third race in the program, we'll pause for this message. Now, this is the third race, the Herald Stakes. The siren sounding in the background to warn the drivers that they're about to start. A field of 11, and this is the first mobile race of the day. It means that the horses are going at full pelt when the starter lets them go. And with the magnificent cooperation we've had from the Harness Racing Board, we have a camera in the back of the mobile. And that's the shot, looking from it towards the horses. Now, there are 11 runners. 6 will be in the front row and 5 in the second row behind this mobile barrier. The starter sits in a platform up at the back. He has microphone communication with the driver. He tells the driver, there you can see him up at the top, and he can talk to the driver, tell him faster, slower, or whatever. And there are green lights on the arms. Now, right, now there's the starter, Mr. Tom McGinley, former champion cross-country jockey, is the starter of this. You can see his controls there, and he has a microphone to talk to the drivers of the horses. Here they come up now. They'll be going 30 mile an hour, 48 kilometres an hour when he lets them go. Qatari Topaz on the inside, Son of Vic, Star Chase, Able Cleo, Trenchman. Here's the start. He called go. The arms fold in and over to Brian Blackmore.
Way smartly, Qatari Topaz is going to retain the inside. Sonovic dropping in behind him, and Pacific Voyage getting right up along the fence from Wild Gypsy. Then Able Cleo, Trenchman easing back. Tartan, Edgar Dean and Canara Summit is last. As they wheel out of the straight, the leader was Qatari Topaz, leading by 3 metres. In second place, Pacific Voyage, who got up on the inside of everything. Leading the outside division was Star Chase, and on the inside of it, Wild Gypsy. 1-1 is Son of Vic, back on the fence, Rocky Apollo. 3 deep going around them, Trenchman. Able Cleo in the centre, Edgar Dean on the fence. 4 metres to Tartan, and last of all is Canara Summit. In the back section of the track, they travelled, and the leader, Qatari Topaz, with Peace having a look around. Trenchman working up 3 deep, is going to sit in the breeze. On the inside is Pacific Voyage. Now landing 1 out and 1 back was Star Chase. A metre the inside of it was Wild Gypsy. Then Son of Vic, who's outside, Rocky Apollo. A sulky's length, Able Cleo. On the fence, 2 metres away, Edgar Dean from Tartan. And a sulky's length off last was Canara Summit. And he's about to let go. At the 1100 metre point, nearing the turn for the bell, the leader, Qatari Topaz, and he slows them down. Canara Summit coming from the rear is going to be up running second in a minute. Trenchman is third. Then came Pacific Voyage on the inside from Star Chase, Wild Gypsy, Son of Vic. It's outside, Rocky Apollo, Able Cleo, and the last two are Edgar Dean and Tartan. Running down towards the judge with 9.50 to go, a bit over a lap out, and Qatari Topaz held together. Canara Summit on the outside's got about a metre in front of it, but Qatari Topaz is racing well within itself. Held up on the fence, third was Pacific Voyage, and Trenchman is 1-1. Then Star Chase outside, Wild Gypsy, and further back, Son of Vic. Rocky Apollo hopelessly bailed up at the moment from Able Cleo, Edgar Dean, and last of all is Tartan. Into the back section, 700 to go, and Canara Summit joined again by Qatari Topaz on the inside. Pacific Voyage is clear in third place. Then Wild Gypsy up on the inside of Trenchman, who's flat about 5 metres. Rocky Apollo with its Star Chase, Son of Vic well back in the field with Edgar Dean. Then Able Cleo and Tartan is last. Running up past the 500, and Qatari Topaz about a metre in front of Canara Summit. In third place, Wild Gypsy. Pacific Voyage is fourth. Wider out on the track was Star Chase making a little ground. Rocky Apollo getting up on the fence from Trenchman and Son of Vic. But around the corner, 300 to go. Qatari Topaz led by a metre in second place. Canara Summit, who's flat. Wild Gypsy can't get out. Pacific Voyage hooked out. Then came Star Chase and Son of Vic. In the straight, though, Qatari Topaz held together. Canara Summit is trying hard. Wild Gypsy can't get out. Pacific Voyage and Trenchman coming again. Qatari Topaz in front. Wild Gypsy getting up on the inside. Qatari Topaz in front as they get near the line, and just one. Qatari Topaz a half head to Wild Gypsy. Trenchman possibly third from Rocky Apollo, Edgar Dean, Canara Summit. Then Pacific Voyage for the back, Star Chase, Able Cleo, Tartan. And last home was Son of Vic.
Well, another thrilling finish, and the judges again call for the photo, but you'll find that number 1, Qatari Topaz, the favourite, has lasted to win by a narrow margin from number 8, Wild Gypsy, which got up along the inside fence and flashed home. And the third placing will go to number 5, was it Trenchman, wider out on the track, number 5, Trenchman. But the judge calls for a photo for all placings in the event. The third on the program, the Herald Stakes, another thrilling event, but I think you'll find that the third favourite in succession has been successful here